age 13 was wondering about the differences between butterflies and moths. Now there's quite a few differences, but some of the easy ones is that when you're looking at a moth, most of the moths have sort of feathered antennae, so there's things that stick out of their heads and it looks like a small feather really, where butterflies have clubbed antennae. So that's one of the main differences. And then of course normally when a butterfly will sit at rest, it puts its wings behind its back like that, and whereas a moth will typically sit with their wings out. And because moths are predominantly diurnal, they've got much better camouflage than the butterflies. The butterflies are normally brightly colored. Sometimes that indicates that they're toxic, but the moths are generally not brightly colored at all. Because they're flying around at night, there's nothing really to spot them. So they've got these beautiful blacks and browns and little bits of whites and all sorts of things on their bodies, and helps them hide away better at night time. Now we're going to just try and keep up with her. Oh, down there. We've managed to spot an impala, and a beautiful impala ram. He's looking at us, probably wondering, what are you doing in my territory? This is my land. And hopefully we don't get chased around like the one chased us this morning, because I don't know if I can run as fast as they can, and I wouldn't like a horn in the bum. That wouldn't be very nice. Eggsy, would you like a horn? Nope, they're very sharp tips. So we probably won't bother him, and we'll let him go that way and we shall go the other way, and we'll see what else we can find on this journey down this way. But for the moment, until we find something else to show you, we're going to go back across to that beautiful leopard and see what he's up to.
1. There we go. Look at this. He's come for a drink. Just as we predicted. As it's got a little bit cooler, he's moved. And look at all the algae that's popped up over the day as the oxygen's got into it. This is exactly where we found him this morning. Oh, here's a little broad-banded yellow butterfly that was fluttering about him. Isn't that exquisite? Hope you guys are getting fantastic screenshots in this golden African light. Oh, he's making me feel thirsty. Look at that. Look at those gorgeous eyes. Such a good looking young boy. Off again? Where are you leading us to next, Vutomi? Oh, there's a tree behind me. Or bush, rather. With some nice deep shade up ahead, you might be heading for another snooze. Here we go. CE is wondering, who is the mother of this young male leopard? It is my favorite leopard in the northern Sabi Sands, Inkanyeni. So she is my favorite, and that is that mother. She was a sister, or half sister, to Shaluva 2005. Her last litter consisted of the 2 cubs that survived to adulthood, one Shaluva 2013 and Makombo, I think were their 2 names. we often try put human ideals and emotions into wild animals, but we must remember they are wild animals. Wild being the operative word. Now, Green Eyes has asked, do I think that leopards will remember their offspring when they get older? I would say to a degree, not in the sort of human way we would like to think. Now, so we've seen Shadow and Karula actually growl and snarl at each other on their boundary, and that's mother and daughter. Once they become independent of their mother, they will fight. They'll try to keep their mother out of the territory that their mother even gave to them. Maybe there's some form of recognition, but I don't think it's a conscious one. It'll be a sort of a instinctive genetic coding that the female will know that her genetic code is still being passed on by that individual. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. He's heading straight towards us. Here's a nice termite mound he might want to go sit on. And we can see all the butterflies that are appearing around him as he walks through the lamb's tail. Oh, he's found a nice little hole to sleep in. Alright, let's try and move around again. Now, of course, even in his little mini adventures around here, he's not normally going to go more than about 500 meters from where his mom told him to wait. Now, I'm not sure, I didn't see any tracks of her this morning, so I'm not sure where she's hunting, but hopefully it is on Cheetah Plains. Look at that. He's got himself right down in that little hole. How's that for him? Hey, look at that. That's a good comfy spot. And you can see the lamb's tail, string of stars, the heliotrope flowers about all around him. Very pretty picture. Oh, he spotted a bird of prey by the looks of things. And you see a big cat look up into the sky like that. Could be a batelier, could be a vulture. Now, Lady Lone Wolf is wondering what his name means, and it's not a nickname, it is his name. He's over a year old. His name is Vutomi, and I didn't give him that name. Shanae from Inkoro and her tracker did. It means life. They thought he was dead so many times, but he kept coming back to life, so they decided to call him Life. So this is Vutomi. Oh, we just had a visitor land in the vehicle. A dung beetle went, there he goes. There we go, hello little dung beetle. I always find them so fascinating because they still haven't mastered the art of landing. They just close their wings when they think it's time to land. And see his little antennae there. Now, testing the wind, he's trying to find out where that dung he was looking for was before he flew into me. getting ticklish for him. I'm being tickled by a dung beetle. Okay, I'm going to release Dung Beetle to go find some dung. So while him and I say goodbye, it seems like Tayla has turned arboreal.
I can't be serious. This is me attempting to meditate, but it's not really. Now I've climbed up to the tallest of tall trees, as you can see, and what I thought I'd do this afternoon is that I've always wondered how comfortable is it for a leopard to sleep in a tree. So now we're going to try out a couple of positions. If I'm not going to be too ladylike, now I need to hold on there. So high, I'm so scared I'm going to fall and hit the ground. Because I always dangle a paw. This is actually not so bad. Let's try a different position. What else do they do, Iggy? Oh, I'm talking on the radio. That's right. That one's not so comfortable. What about this one? I'd love to see a leopard doing this on a tree. And then sometimes you get it where they're dangling like this. And I'm probably cueing my radio. I apologize, Lou. Ooh. Right, now are you ready? I'm gonna have to try and jump down this really tall tree. I'm worried I hurt my ankle. Are you ready for this, Eggsy? Do you think I can do it? This great fall. Just jokes, it wasn't that high. I'm a little bit nervous of heights, so you won't see. No, I like climbing trees, but I need things to hold on to. I'm not as nimble as I used to be. Told you I was going to walk away without my backpack, so there we go, me in a tree pretending to be a leopard. And, well, it's actually not as bad as what you think. I thought that it was going to not be very comfortable at all, but that position, well, not too bad, and I presume a leopard has probably got better balance than what I do. Well, I should hope that a leopard has got better balance than I do. Herbie's just looking at me like I'm crazy. It's fine. It's not the first time he's given me that look. So Herbie, we're going to go to the pan. So we're going to head towards the Djuma pan and have a look. You'll probably see us on the dam cam again. I'm going to go have a look around there. Oh, wonderful. Let's go say hello to Evia. I think I can actually see him in the distance. Herbie, we're going to go to the pan and say hello to Evia. I think there's a couple of Impala around there too. I just need... Oh, hang on. We're being summoned back. What do you have, Herbie? Let's see what he's got first before we go say hello. Oh. Yeah. Come have a look at. Oh. I just need to have a close inspection. But it looks like... I don't even know what it looks like. Let's take one off. Let me use my Leatherman. What does that look like to you, Eggsy? Sorry, I'm bumping you. Let's remove one. Worms. It does look like worms, doesn't it? It looks like it's the exoskin. Ooh! It flew away. It looks like there was probably some caterpillar or something like that that had left half of its body behind, but a whole lot of them. So maybe they had pupated, and that was just, of course, the old skin that they'd shed. I don't know what that was. Funny looking things. We're going to walk towards Evia now. And maybe we see all those Impala, which we saw yesterday. Oh, there they are too, speaking of all the Impala. Now, I've been talking very loudly, so I suspect that the Impala know we're here, but we're downwind of them, so I don't know if they've worked out that we're on foot yet. They could still think we're in a vehicle. So we shall try and sneak over. We're going to play a game called Hide Behind All the Bushes so the animals don't see you. And we'll see how close we can get before the Impala realize we're here. That means I'm going to start to talk a little bit softer now. Herbie, let's try sneak up to these Impala and see how close we can get. Herbie's munching on some Bushman's grapes. He's hungry. He said this walk was exhausting. So, So some of the most important things when you are walking is obviously to have the wind in your favor. That is the best thing. The other thing is then to have a bit of cover between us, and luckily we've got lots and lots of different shrubs, but the Impala eyesight is so keen that I think they saw me already standing up and down on a tree and behaving like a hooligan, because now they are moving off into the distance. So our plan failed. The Impala spotted me, and it was probably also because I was so loud earlier. Probably thought, what is that ruckus going on back there? But that's okay, we're almost at Avia. Go and see what he's up to. Oh, the stick got me. Right. This is so nice, and I'm glad that the wind has picked up and the clouds have come over, because it actually ended up being a very pleasant afternoon. Here we go, have a look at all these impala now. All the tiny little lambs. But they won't be too worried about us because they know that they can outrun us. Especially those little lambs. They probably haven't seen too many people on foot. But eventually they'll get there. But you can see Mom staring straight at us, a couple of males looking at us too, just making sure we don't get too close. And if they do feel uncomfortable, they'll start to dash away. You can see they're moving away slowly, so they're happy with us at this distance. They know that if we were to start running, now they're not so sure. Now they've decided no, they don't like us at all, and that's probably because they can't smell us too well either. They're just trying to listen, and they can see us. You know what animals are like. They rely on their sense of smell so heavily that it is very important for them to be able to utilize that sense, and if they can't, well, it can make you a little bit on the jumpy side. Oh, I can hear something buzzing in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Connor's drone. Do we have the bird's eye view yet, Louise? There we go. You should see us now popping out of the bushes. Hello, everybody. Walking toward, did a stick get you, Eggsy? We almost got a bird's eye view of Eggsy tumbling, which would have been fantastic. That would have gone straight onto YouTube. And here Connor comes buzzing overhead. You should see him go over the top of us in just a moment. And I don't know why Avia's running away from us. I wanted just coming over to say hello to him, and now he's going away. Come back, Avia, come back. And you can see the dam quite nicely with all that lovely lush grass coming through. And apparently the most beautiful sunset that's about to happen, with the golden light illuminating all the grasses and their inflorescence. It must be an absolute beautiful sight. And we're walking down the road. Eggsy, you ready? You got to do your best model step. Okay, ready? And if you watch us now, Eggsy and I are modeling. Can you see us modeling? Probably too high, thank goodness. Come on, Eggsy. Swing those hips. Swing. That's not how you walk down the catwalk. And we're being ridiculous, of course, as normal, because that's what we are. We're not a normal bunch of people. And I've also scared all the impala away, which I think Avia was hoping to have a look at. And now Avia's watching the drone with his binoculars. This is incredible. I love the drone. I don't know about you, but I just think being able to have a bird's eye view is quite special. You get to see so much that's around you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to send you across so that you can stop hearing the sound of my voice and hear his wonderful soft tones.
Welcome back. What an amazing view, getting a chance to have a bird's eye view of things out in the bush. The first time the drone came over me on a bushwalk a couple of days ago, I got the fright of my life. I thought it was a swarm of bees, and I got down on the ground. Everyone, Herbie and Darby, just laughing at me. What are you doing? So I started pretending to draw something in the ground, and then
had a look over my shoulder and realized it was the drone. Those Impala have moved off a bit. Hello, Tayla.
Hello, my old friend.
How are you?
Very well, and you?
Good.
Just thought I'd sneak into the shot. Anyway,
Awesome.
We're going to carry on trying to find something new. Might go watch the sunset.
Hey, Tayla. Oh, awesome. Enjoy. You taking over, yeah?
I can do the elevator now.
Well, let's move on a bit. I spotted some animals in the distance off to the left. There's some Impala, but there were also some baboon in the area. I'm going to head around the dam and see if we can get a better view of them. So that is why I was checking out the drone with binoculars, as Tayla said. Just making sure it's the drone and not a swarm of bees. I'm glad to hear everyone enjoyed the drone segment and getting a different view of things. Let's quickly shoot across this damn wall and around the corner. Maybe we'll get those baboons again. There's some Impala up ahead. There's a woodlands kingfisher that's just flown off, sitting in this. There's a second one coming in. Look at him displaying wings out, just displaying, showing the other one who's boss. The other one's moved off again. Let's keep going, try and catch up to those baboon. Sure. Suzanne, you would like to know what is the one thing I would really like to see in person that I haven't seen on Game Drive before? Something that I haven't seen in a very long time is pangolin. Something that I've never seen before. Now you've got me thinking. Sure. What would I really like to see? I'm gonna have to mull that around a bit. I'll get back to you shortly, Suzanne. Wonder where these baboons have gone. There is a tiny creature that I've only had a glimpse of once, and it was on my own, so I don't think anyone would believe me if I saw it. It was a striped polecat down in the southern Sabi Sands. One night after hosting dinner at one of the lodges and heading back home, it just ran across the road in front of me, so I don't know if it actually was one, but it would have been pretty cool if it was, and I wouldn't mind seeing that again. Folks, I'm going to keep searching for these baboons. I think they might have given us the slip. But while I do that, we're going to head back to Tayla. She is almost ready to say goodbye to you.
I don't want to go home. The lady controller says getting too dark for the walk, so I'm throwing a tantrum now. I'm kicking up a storm. No, as sad as I am to go home, and we'll just do the dust for effect, because doesn't it look beautiful as I walk into the sunset and I've got this cloud of sand. Just do that. That's amazing. Special effects for what? We've got nature out here to do all these incredible things. But sadly, we are on our way off. You can see Herbie's already halfway home, but it's been a wonderful drive, and I hope you all enjoyed my ridiculousness this afternoon. But we'll catch you in the vehicle for the sunrise safari. But myself and Herbie, we're gonna send you back across to Evia and hope you find those baboons.
It looks like those baboons gave us a slip. We did take a bit of a detour on our way to Sydney's Dam. I didn't forget about that. We just went past Djuma Dam, had a look at a bit of the plains game and the Impala around that area, and just to give the possible wild dogs a bit of a chance to get more active as it's cooling down gradually. We are going to make our way in that direction, and hopefully we'll get some activity in that area. Catherine, you would like to know if the polecat is like a skunk. They look very similar. Like, also got the mostly black on their body and a bit of white markings, white lines running along the back towards the hind quarters. I don't know if they have the similar defense mechanisms as skunks have, making that foul smelling gas when they're feeling threatened. I don't know much about these polecats because they're so seldomly seen. It is definitely something to look up and see if we can find a bit more information on them. Hello. There's a bird of prey flying in front of us. On a quick glance it looked like a Wahlberg's eagle. We'll have a quick look, see where it perches, and then we'll get a closer look at him. Straight into the sun. I can't see where it's gone now. Where's that Wahlberg's eagle gone? Lynn, you would like to know if any of us as guides have ever come across poachers. I personally haven't. I'm not sure about the other guys, if Brent or Tayla has. But I do know some people that have in some more remote areas that they've bumped into them. Luckily no harm came to any of the people that were with them or the guides themselves. They were able to call it into the authorities, and the authorities took over. The guides moved out of the area and let the right people handle them and follow up on what the guys were doing in the area. It's definitely not something that I ever want to experience, is bumping into those guys. Especially if I have people with me, it wouldn't be an ideal situation. I think let's keep moving. Let's get up to Sydney's Dam and go have a look there. Elana 13, you would like to know who is in the big five. So we've got 2 cats, which is lion and leopard, and then we've got 3 big herbivores, which is black rhino, elephant and buffalo. Folks, while I keep making my way over to Sydney's, we're gonna head over to Brent and see what he's got of one of the hairy and scary ones.
Welcome back, and he's turned his back on us, young Vutomi. I'm not sure how comfortable that is as a snoozing position, and we'll see how long it lasts. He is quite a busy body this evening, scurrying about, terrorizing tortoises. Oh, the head's getting heavy. Oh no, up again. Now, wouldn't it be wonderful if his mom appeared out of the bush? We would see him become very, very boisterous very quickly. I do love the greeting ceremonies that happen between leopards, or a leopard female and her cubs when they haven't seen each other for some time. Oh, there's the heavy head, and it's snooze time. Who needs a pillow when you got a paw? So even though he is snoozing, watch those ears, they're still alert. He's still listening to his surroundings. Little radar dishes. He can't seem to get comfortable. Oh, shame. It's almost like his mom, I'm bored now. Where are you? I've played with the tortoises. I've had a drink. Hello, Eric in Michigan. Now, Eric is wondering, how long have we been able to get this close to leopards in this area? How many generations have been raised around the sort of safari activity? Okay, well, the first safaris in the Sabi Sands started in the 60s, just to the south of us. But even then, the leopards weren't relaxed. I'd say they only really became truly relaxed in the 70s. And if you look at a average lifespan of, so probably 4 or 5 generations of leopards have been very relaxed around safari vehicles. Now, if you had to do it from scratch, how do you habituate a leopard? Now, there's quite a few different tricks of the trade, and I've fortunately done quite a bit of leopard habituation in lots of different places. I've done it in Zambia, I've done it in Tanzania, I've done it in Botswana, and I've even done it in South Africa. There are places here where leopards are not habituated, and the big trick is perseverance, perseverance, perseverance. It's always made easier if you find a female with cubs. and you just track them on foot till you keep finding them. And one of the big tricks that I used to do, and it works the same with lions. Leopards take a little bit longer than lions. Normally you can get lions really habituated in about 4 months from running from a vehicle when they see it. Leopards probably take 6 to 8 months depending on the terrain. So my favorite trick is, if you find a leopard kill, or if you find a female leopard's den site where she's left her cubs, is you drive a vehicle, you drive 2 cars up there, you stop at about 100 meters, 75 meters away, you leave the car there, and you get one of those old school radios you can buy for nothing in the little local electronics shop, and you put the BBC One on. And it doesn't matter, any radio station where it's talking. So no music, just constant talking. And you just leave that near a kill site, but far enough away. Eventually, after a couple of weeks of doing it at different kill sites and the animals get used to the sound of the talking and of a vehicle. So every week you'll move it to 10 meters closer, but still leaving no people in the vehicle. You just pull out, leave the vehicle there. And then normally, as I said, it takes for 6 to 8 months with leopards before they are completely relaxed. And the trick about relaxing cubs is the cubs will relax the mother. Relaxing an adult male leopard from scratch is a big challenge. It can actually take a year and a half, 2 years even sometimes. But we've already made progress with our unrelaxed male that we see in the north. Mr. Djuma Veerman was with me for that. It took us about 4 hours to get relatively close to him, close enough that we could get a good view. But again, a lot of the unrelaxed animals, the best habituation work is done at night. So at night it's a different animal, they feel far more comfortable. During the day, an unrelaxed leopard will bolt, where there is a relaxed leopard will not even acknowledge the click of my fingers, like this young gentleman. He has given us tons of fun this afternoon. And he wore himself out while it was hot, and now while it's cool, where he's supposed to be jumping about, he's snoozing. Hi, David in Napa, California. David would like to know, do these animals have the same core body temperature as humans, or do they run slightly higher? They run slightly higher than we do, David. And of course, they are far more affected by especially an upward turn of temperature in their core body than we are. So we are a little bit more resilient to fluctuations in body temperature than the big cats. Now, for a big cat, if its body temperature raises by even 1.5 degrees, it can be Celsius, that is, not Fahrenheit, it can be life-threatening. He didn't really come in danger of doing that today. Even though it was hot, it wasn't really hot. 95, I suppose. It depends on your definition of really hot. I only think it's really hot when it's about 115. Till then, it's warm to moderate. And I'd much rather be warm to moderate and really hot than really cold. Now we're faced with a little conundrum. I'm quite tempted to take a little trundle down towards the Cheetah Plains pan, but he might move. Now, Marcy would like to know, can the animals get sick from drinking that dirty water we saw him drinking? Well, Marcy, you and I could probably drink it and not get sick. It's not that dirty, it's just got a bit of elephant feces and stuff in it and some algae. Other than that, it's quite clean. It's probably cleaner than most rivers that run through big cities, and it is their only water supply. They can't pop down to the local shop and buy a bottle of water or open a tap. So that water is perfectly fine for them. It probably doesn't taste too nice to us, but I've drunk water far worse than that when I've needed to, and I'm still standing. Barely, but still standing. Unlike young Vutomi, who's very much a flat cat. So while I ponder whether to take a trundle down to the Cheetah Plains pan, I just worry he gets off the top of his termite mound while we do that. And let's go see what's happening back on Djuma with FW.
Welcome back. We have been to Sydney's. I think it was a bit of wishful thinking on my side, hoping that the wild dogs would show themselves. We've decided to move on. We're going to head past Buffalo's Hook Dam, see if there's any activity in that area, and then I think we should go back to those lions just after sunset and see what they are up to, if they are getting a move on or if they're just sleeping. The only exciting thing we saw at Buffalo's Hook, at Sydney's, was a Swainson's Franklin. I think you saw one on the birding challenge with Brent the other day. Melissa, you would like to know where I am from. I grew up in the northwest province of South Africa. It's about an 8-hour drive from where we are now, about 3 hours west of Johannesburg. Grew up on a farm. Nice growing up in the country, and just living a childhood or a child's dream, growing up in open spaces and having a lot of fun out in nature and on the farm with my dad and with my grandfather. Natasha, a very, very good question. You would like to know if hyenas hunt for food as well, or if they only steal food from other predators. They are very good hunters, and in some areas where there's maybe a little bit less lion in that area, they become the apex predator and they hunt very effectively. I've heard in an area a little bit further north of here, there's a hyena pack or hyena clan that hunts more than the lions there. They don't see lion too often in the area, but often when there are lion kills, the hyena just never show up because they've got enough food of their own. They catch it and they carry on. Quite interesting how things work when animals move around and the dynamics change. When there's a certain amount of one species, the others kind of move out of the area to do their own thing. There's a lot of competition between all the predators, and they try and avoid each other. They don't really want to spend too much time in one another's company. I was unfortunate and to an extent fortunate to see a very hectic interaction between two predator species. It was interaction between lion and leopard. Unfortunately, didn't have the happiest ending, or not a happy ending at all. The female leopard got killed by a male and a female lion. They were chasing her around for a while, and we spent time with them, and eventually she ran from tree to tree, sitting up top in the tree. Next thing, jumped down and bolted off again into the next tree, and the lions figured out what she was doing. So she came down one last time, and unfortunately the lions were ready and waiting for her. It's one of those sightings that is just built into your memory, but the helplessness that you do feel, you can't do anything, you don't want to get involved, and you just sit and watch this thing unfold. It is a very sad thing. I was left speechless for minutes after that. I just told the guest, I don't know what to tell you. You get to grow a bit of a bond with certain animals in an area that you spend time in, and then that animal is just taken away like that. So it's, yeah, very, very sad. James, you would like to know if I've got a favorite leopard in any of the reserves that I worked at before. I worked at Sabi Game Reserve in the southern Sabi Sands. I made mention of that yesterday with the lions as well. There was a female leopard called the Lisbon female. She had this very interesting way of hunting. She would walk through long grass and sit upright like a meerkat. And there was a guide that worked there with me. He'd been there for over 30 years. He basically opened the lodges there. And we were in a sighting together, and he saw that for the first time after spending many years with that particular leopard. So that's one of the leopards that do stand out for me. There's another female that had a very catchy attitude, quite a little aggressive lady, called the Little Bush Female, and she used to hang around one of the camps called Little Bush Camp, and that's how she got her name. But she wasn't always that fond of our presence, and she would often give you a snarl and look at the tracker in a funny way. So those two leopards for me definitely stand out as two of the favorites that I've had the privilege of spending time with. Let's keep going. Let's try and get to Buffelshoek Dam. Folks, while we move and make our way through this drainage line and towards Buffelshoek Dam, we're going to head over to Brent and see what that beautiful leopard is up to.
Well, he seems to have found a slightly more comfortable spot now, in between two of the pinnacles of the termite mound. Some squawking magpie shrikes attracted his attention there. Oh, I can't help it. I'm going to take one picture. It's just too nice. And it's amazing. As soon as I'm off here, he closes his eyes and doesn't move. He's performing for all of you out there. I'm really hoping now, as it gets a little bit cooler, a little bit later, that Mom appears out of the bush. Now, the chances of him still being here on tomorrow's sunrise safari are very, very slim, but I think it's definitely worth taking a chance. Yes, I like you, mister. Ooh. Oh, squirrel's alarming down the road from us. Could Mom be about to arrive? You see how he reacted? And I did as well. I did the same thing. Head up, looking down the road. Is Nkanyeni coming? Oh, and he heard a squirrel and thought, time to chase it. But it was a bit far. Hello, Eric in Michigan. Eric's wondering, at what age are leopards able to fend for themselves and hunt completely self-sufficient from a female? And again, it's one of those strange ones that depends on the individual. Now, the youngest recorded male leopard being independent, and that was forced independence because his mother got killed by lions, was 9 months old, and he survived to adulthood. But that is abnormal. So I would have to say, based on that abnormal, it's 9 months. So at this age, they are still able to catch lots of little things, enough to survive. But the big threat comes, especially if their mother has been killed, is probably from another adult female coming into the area. So even at this age, he probably would not be able to defend himself against a female leopard who attacked him. Now, the biggest threat to young Vutomi is a leopard who's a firm favorite of a lot of us out there, and that's Mr. Quarantine. Quarantine does spend a lot of time in this area, and he is a direct threat to Vutomi. He would definitely try kill this cub if he got the opportunity to. So, listening to squirrel alarm calls could be Mom, could be danger, so it pays to be observant and alert out here. I think that squirrel wasn't a proper alarm call. I think it was just more of a chitter-chatter. Maybe having an argument with another squirrel. Squirrel's still chitter-chattering. It doesn't sound like that really excited chitter alarming at a leopard. And he doesn't look nearly as interested in it as he was when he first sort of just caught it on the wind. Now, as his mom arrives, we'll probably hear her calling before we see her, and he probably will hear her calling before we even hear her, with that wonderful little ow, bow, bow, that a female leopard does. I don't want to do it too well, don't want to confuse the poor lad. But also chuffing, that sort of huffing and blowing of their cheeks. And leopards and tigers are the only two big cats that chuff, and only when they're in close proximity. And that chuffing is normally between a female and her young, although it has been recorded between adults, but very, very rare. He's so comfortable, I'm quite jealous. Cyan is wondering whether the spot pattern between the two eyebrows of the leopard be more unique than the spot pattern above the last whiskers. it's possibly more unique, but at a quick glance, or if you only get a chance to snap a quick photograph, it's far harder, far more spots to count. So quite often in certain times, and especially off camera traps and stuff like that, you're not going to get a frontal shot of the leopard. You're only going to get a side-on shot. So there's a reason why that top line of spots is the most frequently used. I'm trying to remember, do I have... only Vutomi on this card? That's a pity. I sent my... Actually, we can try it. It's not going to be the best, but let me just try this quickly. Unfortunately, my telephonic device went for a tumble, and my spare telephonic device has also been for a tumble or two. Okay, let's have a look. Let's do a little trick or a little comparison quickly for cyan. And it's not the best, so let me find the right picture here. Where's the one from now? Okay, there we go. So, I mean, if you see what I mean, as soon as it's fine when you've got time, but if you look quickly, I mean, see what I mean? It just depends on which direction they're lying. It's very difficult. Can I go closer on this one? Let me just, sorry. No, it doesn't want to stay closer. Maybe if I do it this way. There we go. So, you see what I mean? It just depends on the angle that they're lying. Now, this is a fun game. I do apologize for the completely cracked screen I'm showing you here at the moment. But if you see what I mean, it's so difficult at a quick glance to see the difference between that and that. It depends if his eyes are closed. It depends if his snarling, if his face is scrunched up. But with the spot patterns, you can see it immediately. But now, just based on that, let's see how good you guys are. Which leopard is that? I'll be super impressed if anyone can tell me, without seeing the bottom row of spot pattern, which young male leopard is that? And if you know the answer, hashtag Safari Live, and questions at WildEarthTV on email. If you can tell me which young male leopard that is, I won't eat my hat, but I'll think about it. So I think that's a good test. So there's a reason we use those. Now, on massive sort of camera trap projects and things like that, there has been software developed that can take the whole body side of a leopard and run it through a computer program, and that works for that. But if you're out in the field and you need a quick ID, the spot pattern's generally the best, that sort of last line of spots above the whiskers. So I'm so excited to see if anyone can get which young male leopard that was. Now, already in, is it Hosanna? It is not Hosanna. See, and I chose that picture specifically because it is of a leopard between, I can't remember now, but 10 months and a year old. And David, you are correct. It is young Sindile, but I think you got there by a process of elimination rather than the fact that it was the forehead spots. Yes, it was young Sindile at about the same age as this. So just before he had to go away into quarantine. So that's why I specifically chose that picture. It was almost exactly the same age. Now we're going to sit here with this leopard, hoping his mom is going to arrive. While we do that, let's go have a look at another gorgeous setting of the African sun.
While you've been with Brent, we have been enjoying a magnificent Leopard sunset. In the area that we're in at the moment, there are some vultures as well, just to the right of us. We'll get to them now. Let's just have a look at the sunset, and then we're going to go over to the vultures. There's quite a bit of vultures around, so it might be a good thing to come and have a look at tomorrow morning. There might be something in this drainage line that could give us a nice surprise in the morning. See what is around. It is such an amazing sunset. Look at the color in the clouds and all the different colors coming out. There's a nice silver lining on the big cloud just to the right of the of the sun. The end of another beautiful day in Africa. I hope you are having some gin and tonics back home looking at this beautiful sunset. Let me go forward a bit more. There's some more just to the right that we might get a better view on. There we go. Settling down for the night. Looks like it's all white-backed vultures. All the other trees that have vultures in them, I think they're all white-backed vultures as well. While we still have a little bit of light, we're going to try and get back to those lions before it's dark. See if we can get a quick update on what they are up to before we leave them for the night. Imani, you would like to know what we do if we find an injured animal. Now, if it is a natural injury, let's say two Impala rams were fighting and the one got injured, we will not get involved. It is nature. We let nature take its course and let it carry on. If there was any human influence in it, then we will definitely try and help the animal. So it's all kind of what we see and what we think happened, and then we deal with it from there. You would always like to leave nature to do its thing, but in some cases you have to help. So it is also a little bit species related in my opinion as well. Even if it's, let's say, a rhino has gotten an injury, it is a threatened species, so we need to help each and every one of them, and there you'll definitely try and do your best to save it. Just hold on here, we're going to get a couple of bumps. I know it is always tough to see any animal that is injured, but sometimes you have to put the emotions away and kind of deal with it in a way to understand it is survival of the fittest. The strongest genes need to go on, and all injuries to an extent is a sign of weakness. And yeah, we have to support nature in that way. Folks, I'm going to have to put my foot down a bit and get moving towards those lions. We're going to head back to Brent and see if that leopard is getting active.
Oh, he's just turned his back on us, so we're going to have to tootle around the termite mound. But unfortunately, we will move a bit faster than two-step Tony the tortoise. How's that, Vim? So it looks like he's going to rest up here for the next while till his mom comes. It's a great spot. He's got a little pan of water close by. He's got a nice termite mound where he can survey his domain, well, his domain for now, and see any potential threats before they get to him. And it looks quite comfy up there compared to the rest of the spots he's been trying to nap today. Hello, Michael in the cold north, Canada. Michael would like to know, who has better eyesight in low light, lions or leopards? I would say they're probably comparable, Michael. Their eyes are quite similarly designed. Now, we must remember lions and leopards do not see in color. They also don't see detail. A lion or a leopard wouldn't be able to read the Sunday newspaper, for example. They see in sort of shades of gray, white, and black. And their eyes are very specifically designed to pick up movement. And that's why there's that old adage when out in the bush, and it works for most animals, elephants and rhino and buffalo and hippo are sort of an exception to the rule because they're just cantankerous. But it is, whatever you do, don't run. You stand still, and if you keep still enough, sometimes the animals will lose sight of you. Now, of course, when they're that close that they're charging you on foot, maybe not, but it still works to stand still. If you flee, you are acting like prey. But I'd say that their eyesight is pretty comparable. I would say it's about the same. If anything, lions have a slightly better eyesight, and that's for one reason and one reason only. It's because they're taller. So they are able to see over bushes and through over certain grass, where leopards are a bit shorter, so they can't. And it's an unbelievable thing. And then if you spend a lot of time following us on Safari Live, or you get to go on your own African safari one day, you'll be there and you'll be following a lion or a leopard. Oh, stretchy stretch. And you can see all the impala in front of them, you can see the buffalo, but because they're moving through an area of thick bush and their heads are low to the ground, they don't see them till they're much closer. So that's where some of their other senses come in, like hearing and smell, but eyesight is their primary sense when it comes to locating potential prey. I heard that as well. Let me just have a quick look. Let me just listen again. No, here we go. You see it, they're well done, VM. Oh, did he fly? No, there he goes. Is that a little bit to the right? Where that fallen, there. A little bit to the left. A little bit up. Oh, it's disappeared. But there was a testicular that sounded like it had a little alarm call, and that's the type of sign you would hear before Mom arrived. I just wanted to double check. You like playing around and around the termite round with us, mister? That does seem to be his favoured spot. He has spent most of his time lying facing in this direction. And there we go, you can see that spot pattern really nice and clearly. 3 on the right, 4 on the left. And a little scratch on the schnoz. And you get a hiding from your mother, or did you put your nose through a thorn tree? Well, hello to 1 stoner and 2 cats who would like to know if there are any animals that see in full color like human beings. Indeed, there are, and they are primates. So, and a lot of bird species as well will see in color, and quite a few insect species. Now, the reason that most of those animals need to see in color is especially when it comes to fruit, seeing when fruit is ripe, whether it's safe to eat. And so you'll find monkeys, baboons, gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, although strangely enough, of the cat family, domestic cats. Can't see in full color, but they can see a few shades of color, which is unusual for the cat family. And as far as I know, there's no real obvious evolutionary advantage to being able to see yellow in color. Oh, that is stunning. What a beautiful young boy. I think we're keeping him just as entertained as he's keeping us. I love it when you get that little light shine on their eyes. Now if you look carefully, sometimes, oh, he's moved. On certain occasions, we get to see our reflection in the eyes of the big cats, and it is quite a fun thing. I'm not sure. Do you think we were there in that reflection? No, VM disagrees. Oh, you didn't see. Yes. Oh, there we go. Final Control says they could see our reflection in the eye of the big cat. So that is quite a special thing. It doesn't happen too often. Hi, Steve. Steve says, what if leopards had the tawny coat of a lion and lions had the spotted coat of a leopard? Would it improve their hunting? Steve, that's a bit of an interesting one. So the reason the leopards have the spots is because they are in so much more varied habitats than lions. So the spot works in savanna, it works in desert, and it works in rainforests, whereas the tawny wouldn't work so well in a rainforest. I don't think it would make too much difference in terms of their hunting success. And also, the spots are designed for a solitary cat. If we look at the animal, the big cats that are heavily marked, striped or spotted, leopards, tigers, and so on and forth, they often will live in jungles and forests, whereas lions live in open savannas. So it's probably not as beneficial to a lion. Also, a lion being a social predator is not as reliant on its camouflage because they work as a team. Okay, let's pop around again. As he keeps us playing around and round the termitaria. How's that, Vim? There we go. You like this game? Definitely looking expectantly in all directions for the return of Mother Deer. Nkanyeni. Now, Denise is wondering, is it cooler for him to lie on top of a termite mound? At this time of the day, most definitely. The sun's down, the wind's picked up a little bit. Now, if there's a termite mound that's got a lot of deep shade, then yes, it's slightly more of a breeze, but generally any bit of shade will do for the cats. As you would have seen with FW and those lions today, it's not that uncommon, if there's not a lot of shade around, that the lions will actually come lie in the shade of our safari vehicles. But at the moment it's a very pleasant temperature. There's a nice wind blowing through. So I think he's very comfortable up there at the moment. He's still breathing heavily, but he's not panting at the moment. Now, Vito would like to know, do the ladies in Final Control ever get to go out on the safari vehicles with the guides? No, Vito, we must keep them in their place, locked in their office. Who says they're allowed outside? No, I'm joking, Vito. Of course, whenever there is an opportunity, we will take the ladies out. Sometimes after drive or in between drives. And every now and then they do get to sit on the back with us for a safari. Stunning, stunning. Oh, I can hear wildebeest in the distance. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I wonder if it's my good old friend Gnormus Gnorman the Gnu. Is he having a battle with Normal Norman? Now, for those of you who don't know, there's two big open areas on Cheetah Plains. One has the dominant male that we nicknamed Gnorman the Gnu, and his arch rival who lives alongside him on the next open area, who's Normal Norman the Gnu. Now, we're going to leave this little man sitting on top of his termitaria because I still have one smelly job to do today. And I think a lot of you will remember one of the last times I had to do such a job. That happened to be, who was it? Impala, I think. And Impala was, I don't know what was wrong with Impala's stomach that day, but it was absolutely vile. So before it gets dark, so we're getting there, he's moved far enough away from where he deposited his present for me. Now I need to get my leopard scat collecting kit out. Oh dear, I hope I brought all my leopard scat collecting kit. Yes, we go. Leopard scat collecting kit. I'm going to make my way towards that large deposit made by a little leopard. While we do that, let's go have a look at the antelope around the Djuma waterhole.
We are with the nice herd of Impala. The male Impala of the group was chasing everyone around, maybe rounding up everyone to get closer as we are going into darkness, keeping all the troops together, having everyone have a look for possible predators moving and lurking around. Yeah, I've tried to use Brent's example and do a bit of a Ferrari safari and get to those lions, but we are just out of reach. We're not going to get there before nightfall. So let's enjoy these Impala and just see what they get up to. You can hear a lot of grunting noises again. Everyone calling each other, mums calling babies, getting back together after a day of feeding and moving around. Sure. Eric, you are asking about the behavior and the similarities between Impala and the North American white-tailed deer. I unfortunately don't know much about the behavior of the white-tailed deer. I would expect there would be some similarities between the two species, but I don't know of any specific ones. Look at that youngster being silly. Did you see it jumping around? It's quite interesting if we pan across this entire herd and just look at their positions of their heads. You can almost say that there is ones looking in every direction. So there's a 360-degree angle that's being watched, and that is one of the very lucky or good things with Impala. They're very vigilant animals. They're looking all over and always someone on the lookout. Some will be feeding, some will have their heads up, scanning the area, making sure there's nothing looking at them, and they're very alert animals. There's one or two. We are just behind a lodge, behind Djuma Lodge, and it looks like there's a little bit of movement, and there's one or two females looking at the lodge, looking at that movement. So you can imagine it's not going to be easy for any predator to get close to them. A lion or leopard are going to really have to know what they are doing when they try and hunt these guys. Out in the open, it's a lot more difficult than a thicker area, and it's a nice spot for them to be at night, out in the open. While we've been looking at the Impala, there's a Nyala that sneaked his way in here. He's about to join these Impala. Folks, it has been a lovely afternoon. Exceptional sightings. Darby, thank you for all the help. It's been a great afternoon to share with you. Folks, have a lovely evening. Enjoy. We're gonna head over to Brent, who is collecting some poop.
Okay, now I'm trying to figure out, here we go, that's exactly where I am. Now I need to get my GPS coordinate. Well, I'll do that afterwards. I think it's going to take a while for me to figure that out. But so I'm filling out a bit of information on the Panthera card here. So this is for Panthera. So I'll do the GPS coordinate a little later. What is the date today? 20th, I think. 20th of the 12th, 2016. Individual ID, Vutomi. So, sex, male, and age 13 3/4 months. I think we can call it 14. 14 months. Okay, so I'll do the GPS coordinates afterwards. It's going to take a little while. Here comes the smelly part. VM, you're going to let me know if I start running over time. So it's quite an impressive leaving for such a small cat. Okay. Toothpick. Now, if you're not an experienced cat scat collector, one should wear gloves. Fortunately, I've been doing this since my teens. So the skin, we're actually going for the epithelial skins from the lower intestine. So that's the skin that we're going to be able to get genetics off. Let's have a look. We don't want a massive piece, but we want a big enough piece. Now that is a massive piece. That's too big. Oh, so smelly. Now, because of all the hair, it tends to be quite sticky. There we go. That's an ideal. Here's an ideal size. Get back in there. Toothpick, you can stay. Okay, so there we go. That's how you collect leopard scat without getting any on your fingers. Now, if I did get it on my fingers, I'd have to do a big scrub, and I'd probably take some antiseptic stuff out of the first aid kit, because inside leopard and lion scat lives some of the most vile and horrible little critters, liver flukes, tapeworms, and not the good type of worms or whatnot, and not the good type of bacteria. You must realize they have a diet that consists of lots of rotting meat. So we're not so good with rotting meat, human beings, so we don't want to really get that in your fingers. And those little parasites can get under your nails, and any little scratch or nick you don't even know you have. But okay. Now, how do I do this GPS thing? I think I'm going to need VM's help. VM is far more technically savvy than me. When I used to do this stuff for different research organizations, or when I was in Gabon collecting gorilla poo. See, I've spent a lot of poo in my life. What will happen is that I had a proper GPS. I didn't have to use a phone, and then I just go, meh, and then I download it later. But it sounds like Final Control is going to tell me our GPS coordinates, because they can see where I am. I think that's what they said. But we are coming to the last minute of the drive. I don't know if they're going to be quick enough though. Stand by. 50 seconds. Panic. Can final control read GPS coordinates in 45 seconds? And still tell me we're 40 seconds out. That is the question. No, I'm joking. I'm not gonna put the pressure on them. I can hear the panic in the final control. I'm only joking. I can wait till I'm off air to do it. But it's been wonderful from the whole Safari Live crew. It's been a blast, and we can't wait to see you on the Sunrise Safari. I'm going to be walking in the morning, so Tayla and Effie are going to be driving, and I'm definitely going to whisper into one of their ears that they should come back here. So from the Safari Live crew, Vutomi and myself, bon nuit, and we'll see you in the morning.